Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Five features. We're starting from text 74. So what's going on here? Oh yeah. What Caitanya is telling the Mayavadis. He's telling them why he doesn't stay only meditating and study Vedanta, and why he chants the holy name and dances. And that is because his spiritual master told him what? Because he's foolish and he should just chant the name of. You're fool number one. And there's no use, yeah, you're not qualified. This is the essence of all the mantras, the essence of all the Vedas. This is the conclusion of all Vedic knowledge. And by chanting this mantra, all you do is chant this mantra, you can attain freedom from material existence. You'll be able to see the lotus feet of the Lord. And yeah, so that brings us up to, did we read 74 or not? I think no, right?
We did the big one. Yeah, we stopped at 10.
Okay, so it's 74.
Yeah.
So what you talk. So this is good because it gives us faith.
Nama Vinu Kali Kale Nahi Ara Dharma Sarva Mantra Saranama Shastra Marma.
In the age of Kali, there is no religious principle other than the chanting of the holy name, which is the essence of all Vedic hymns. This is the purport of all scriptures. Sarva Mantra Saranama. So, of all the mantras, this holy name is the best. And it is Shastra Marma. Marma means the purport. It is the purport of all Shastras. I think this is the essential conclusion of all Shastras is Hare Krishna. The principles of the Parampara system were strictly honored in previous ages. Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, and Dwapara. This system, Shrota Parampara, or receiving knowledge by disciplic succession. In this age, people are prepared to argue that they can understand that which is beyond their limited knowledge and perception through so-called scientific observations and experiments, not knowing that actual truth comes down to man from authorities. This argumentative attitude is against the Vedic principles, and it is very difficult for one who adopts it to understand that the holy name of Krishna is as good as Krishna himself. Since Krishna and his holy name are identical, the holy name is eternally pure, and beyond the Mahamantra offenselessly, one can be freed from all subtle and gross material conditions. The spiritual world is called Vaikuntha, which means without anxiety. In the material world, everything is full of anxiety, Kunta, whereas in the spiritual world, Vaikuntha, everything is free from anxiety. Therefore, those who are afflicted by a combination of anxieties cannot understand the Hare Krishna mantra, which is free from all anxiety. In the present age, the vibration of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is the only process that is in a transcendental position, beyond material contamination. Since the holy name can deliver a conditioned soul, it is explained here to be Sarva Mantra Sar, the essence of all Vedic hymns. A name that represents an object of this material world may be subjected to arguments and experimental knowledge. But in the absolute world, a name and its owner, the fame and the famous, are identical. And similarly, the qualities, pastimes, and everything else pertaining to the absolute are also absolute. Although Mayavadis profess monism, they differentiate between the holy name of the Supreme Lord and the Lord himself. For this offense of Namaparad, they gradually glide down from their exalted position of Brahmagyan, as confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam 10:2-32. Arudya Kritrena Param Padam Tatam Patantyado Nadrita Yusmad Angraya. Although by severe austerities they rise to the exalted position of Brahmagyan, they nevertheless fall down due to imperfect knowledge of the absolute truth. Although they profess to understand the Vedic which means everything is both, they are unable to understand that the holy name is also Brahman. If they regularly chant the Maha Mantra, however, they can be relieved from this misconception. Unless one properly takes shelter of the holy name, he cannot be relieved from the offensive stage in chanting the holy name. So, yeah. From scripture, we hear that the holy name is Krishna himself. Right? The name of Krishna is Krishna himself. He's saying that this you're not going to find out, you're not going to be able to confirm with any scientific experiments. So the scientists, they have a hard time accepting this. And then he says also the impersonalists have a hard time accepting this because they say that, I mean, ironically or hypocritically, they say that everything is Brahman, but the holy name, no, is not. Holy name is, everything is God, but the holy name is not God. So we're not going to chant the holy name, but everything is God. So it doesn't even add up, right? Yeah, but for to actually regularly chant the Maha Mantra and take shelter of the Maha Mantra, then we can understand. Right? Yeah, he even says that people who are in a lot of anxiety, they can't understand the holy name. Right? So sometimes people like devotees or people who are trying to be devotees, they try to chant Hare Krishna, but then they can't really get into it. You know, they don't feel the benefits so much because they're so preoccupied with their like material anxieties and things. But like one time, I was in London Temple and we were listening to a class of Srila Prabhupada, and they have a thing there like every Monday they hear the Prabhupada class, and then they have one person who like while the class is going on, or maybe before they play the class, he like writes down some questions that, and then he does like a quiz afterwards, and he keeps score, and then whoever like gets the highest score gets a burpee, Maha burpee. Like, okay, so then I was like, all right, I'm gonna win this, of course. So I'm very competitive. So then when it comes to things like this, so then I was like taking notes and paying attention and everything. I was like really getting into the class. And then he started asking me questions. I was like I knew all the answers, right? So then I won the burpee. And then I mean, not that like I answered all the, like other people also answered some questions. So I think it's like me. Anyway, so there was one that my friend was sitting like just next to me there. And afterwards, she was like, "Oh, how did you know all those questions?" And I was like, "Well, how did you not know any of them? We were just sitting there here in the class. It was like a meeting after the class. It was like asking questions. She said, "Oh, I was just so preoccupied with I got this on my mind and that on my mind, and this on my mind, so many worries, so it didn't really sink in." So then, yeah, and also, you know, when Narada Muni was in the womb of his mother. Sorry, not Narada Muni. Prahlad Maharaj, yeah. Prahlad. Austerities, and then the demigods came to try to, they wanted to kill Hiranyakashipu. No, they thought Hiranyakashipu is gone, and so the palace is unprotected, and his wife is pregnant with his son, and so we're going to get the wife and wait until the baby's born and kill the baby, because that baby's going to be a big demon just like his father. So then when Narada Muni comes along and he says, no, you've got it all wrong. You're thinking that the son of the demon is also going to be a demon, but actually he's a Mahabhagavad. He's a great devotee. And he said, okay, I'll take care of you because we can't send you back there and demigods failed. They just wanted to, like, come to my ashram, I'll take care of you until your husband gets back. So then, of course, Narada Muni knew that this was Prahlad and that he was his disciple. So he was teaching him the Bhagavatam and explaining, spiritual subject matters to him. And then Prahlad became like a great devotee from hearing from Narada Muni's all these instructions. So then question arises, well, what about Narada Muni's mother? She was also there. She was also hearing the same instructions. Why didn't she become, a great devotee like Prahlad Maharaj? And then the acharyas explained that because she was in anxiety. She was so worried because she's thinking, oh my God, my husband, when is he ever coming back? Is he even going to come back alive, or is he going to die out there? And I have this, going to deliver the baby, and am I going to be a single mother? And we already got attacked and they tried to kill him once. Is that going to happen? She was in a lot of anxiety. Imagine being a pregnant woman and having just been abducted, and your husband's nowhere to be found to contact him. So she was like in a ton of anxiety. And so they tried to explain that because she was in anxiety, I remember that because it says that Vaikuntha is a place of no anxiety. So if we're in anxiety, then therefore those who are afflicted with anxieties cannot understand the Hare Krishna mantra because it's free from anxiety. So we should try to not get bothered about anxieties, right? Not worry, just surrender to Krishna. And that's why Krishna says, Sarvadharma Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. I think I told you this before, right? What Kesha Swami said about that verse. He says that I didn't tell you? Yeah, he was giving a talk on Gita Jayanti, or the celebration of Gita Jayanti at the manor. And he said that most people think that Krishna's last instruction in the Bhagavad Gita is abandon all varieties and surrender unto me. He says, but actually, in that verse, there's an instruction that comes after that in that verse, and that is Ma Shuchaha. Don't worry. The instruction is, and it's in the imperative, it's both of them imperative. Abandon all varieties of religion, surrender unto me, and don't worry. Do not fear. So Krishna is literally telling us, like, don't be in anxiety. This is an order. Don't worry. So why? Because worrying is a problem for us. We're in too much anxiety and we're too much afraid and worrying, and we can't understand Hare Krishna mantra. We can't understand Srimad Bhagavatam. We might be sitting there and hearing, but it's not sinking in. So we have to really surrender to Krishna and trust Krishna. And we have faith in Krishna, that Krishna is our best friend. He's got it all under control. Everything is going to be fine. Then we can actually just absorb. We can really chat nicely, hear nicely, get purified, and get the maximum benefit out of these powerful processes. I thought that was very interesting. Any thoughts? That's Hannah.
So beautiful.
Haribol, Prabhupada Priya, I'm so thankful you're giving class, even though you just got surgery yesterday.
Yeah, these glasses are so weird. They're like mirrors. Like I can see like an infinite regress of my face. Okay, go ahead.
So my question is, okay, so if we hear that like verses that simultaneously say like, I think it's coming up soon, the verse like, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Eva Kevalam, Kalona, Steva, 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 Gatiranyata, which means like, there's no other way, there is no other way, there is no other way for like salvation except for the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. So we hear those things, and oftentimes if you talk to senior Prabhupada disciples with anything, like you'll be like, I'm in anxiety about this or that, they'll just be like, just chant Hare Krishna and it'll go away. But then we simultaneously are hearing that a person can't appreciate perhaps the benefit of chanting because of that anxiety. So is there other things that we should be doing to or can recommend so that we ourselves and other people can relish chanting in all the myriad forms it comes in, like besides taking, like, because I know food plays a huge role in anxiety, like dictating your mood, taking prasadam, but any
Yeah, it seems like a little bit of a, what they call catch-22, right? That to get free from anxiety, chant Hare Krishna, but if you're in anxiety, you can't appreciate chanting Hare Krishna. So then it looks like you're stuck. So that's why we need to read the scriptures, like especially we study the Srimad Bhagavatam, and there's so many pastimes there of Krishna and his devotees, and there's so many situations where devotees are in trouble, demigods are in trouble, and how Krishna always saves the day. Right? Krishna always appears and he makes some whole arrangement in order for the devotees to be fine. So, yeah, the more we read books like the Srimad Bhagavatam, the more we understand that, Krishna is actually God and he's can be present, he is present, can reveal himself at any moment. And yeah, he's taking care of us. So yeah, when we read and also hear, when we share our realizations with each other, like when you talk to devotees, and devotees like talk about their experiences of how Krishna just like, I was really worried and thought we were in trouble, I thought we were all dead, or whatever. And then all of a sudden some like crazy miracle just happened and it was Krishna. Krishna just like created a situation that saved us. So that happens like all the time with devotees. Probably if you talk to any devotee, they're gonna Krishna saved me. All this story. So yeah. So by hearing these stories from Srimad Bhagavatam from bygone ages, and also hearing the stories today, like we were in class the other day, and the devotee was asking for, he was talking about ways to use anger in Krishna's service. And so he was expecting like the classic examples that Prabhupada gives in the Nectar of Instruction, right? Like Hanuman burning Lanka, or Caitanya like raising a Sudarshan Chakra to kill Jagai Madai. So we got a couple of those, but mainly we were getting like, one time doing Rath Yatra, there was this person that was, this like born again Christian or whatever who was insulting Prabhupada and telling everyone they're going to hell and stuff. And Prabhupada was trying to give a talk, and then one devotee just hauled off and boom, he just punched him in the face and knocked him and stuff. And then after that, somebody else was like, "Oh yeah, there was another event where these kids are trying to climb on the Rath Yatra car," and nobody's like that. What was the story? Remember?
I just remember these two.
But they were like, it was like all these modern day, stories of how, whatever some Bhagavatam principle was playing out. So this is Bhagavad Gita continues, right, with the modern day Bhagavats, the devotee Bhagavats. So these are also Lord's pastimes, right? The Lord's pastimes are going on between himself and the Lord's devotees. So so when we hear about these things, that gives us a lot of faith. And then when we understand that Bhaktaram Jagatapasam Sarvalokamaheshwaram Suvidam Sarvabhutanam Gyatvanapam Shantimriti, that Krishna is the supreme controller, he's also our best friend, we can just be peaceful. We don't need to worry. Because all of our anxieties are like, who's going to take care of me? How am I going to get money? Or what about my visa? Or who's going to marry me? Or, like, how about my health? Oh my God, what about my exam? Like, it's all like really easy things, for Krishna. Imagine the person who like didn't even create the universe himself, but just empowered someone else to do it. Yeah, like, so we get all stressed out about these things.
Chanting visa. Hare Krishna visa, Hare Krishna visa. Green card, green card.
This is the first time we're gonna hear.
So we just have to like leave it to Krishna, like do our best, and surrender to him. You know, just forget about all these things, surrender to him, do not worry. And then we can really connect with Krishna. Krishna's like, are you only chanting my names because you want to drink whatever? You know, or do you really like want me? Because if you really want me, then like. Okay.
Yes.
Didn't need to target anyone.
I was thinking, yeah, how sometimes it is said how rare it is for someone to come to a platform of chanting.
Yeah.
And for like us, as we associate with each other, it's kind of like, it seems like very common and like, like I take it for granted. I'm like, yeah, everyone chants, everyone can chant. But I was talking to someone the other day who, I've been encouraging to come to the temple. And he was just saying, he's like, I just cannot connect with this. I cannot connect with chanting. Every time that I talk to someone, they're just like, and he's like, I don't get any of it. So yeah, it's very interesting how like it might seem so simple, but some people are not just, like intended to, I guess, or they are intended, sorry, but they're not maybe ready for it.
Yeah, simple, but Prabhupada said it's simple, but it's not easy.
Yeah.
Hannah. Yeah, so just a sec. So, I mean, yeah, I think your point is that we really have to value the devotees, right? That those of us, even though we have a million faults, and, we do a lot of nonsense, but we chant Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
And keep doing it day after day, despite our faults, despite our waking up late, despite our gossiping, despite our whatever, our material attachments. Somehow or other, we manage to just keep on chanting these 16. So that's like the redeeming quality, right? I mean, Bhagavatam says that like Kalaya dosha nidheda jam asti eka mahad gunan kirtanad eva krishnasya mukta sangha paramahajana. That this Kali Yuga is an ocean of faults, but there's one good quality, and that is that simply by chanting the holy names of the Lord, you can go back to Godhead in this age. So if we just look at our life, like if you just take any person as like a representative of Kali Yuga, right? Just imagine every person we're living in Kali Yuga, so each one of us is like a representative, like a little microcosm, like a little walking microcosm of Kali Yuga. So he says Kali Yuga is an ocean of faults, but there's one redeeming quality that just like trumps everything, and that is that by chanting the holy name, you can go back to Godhead. So like me, I'm like a little microcosm of Kali Yuga. I'm an ocean of faults, but somehow I'm chanting Hare Krishna. And so that basically like, not that it nullifies all the faults, but it just like, it shines, it shines so brightly that it just, it's like, that if you can see that and focus on that and understand the value of that, then you can easily overlook all the other things. It's like, I probably use that example of like glowworms, like little fireflies. So if you say, if it's nighttime, then the fireflies are very apparent. You look out over the field and it's like, oh, flies. It's like all you can see is fireflies. But then when the sun comes up, it's not like the fireflies, are gone, but you don't see the fireflies because the sun's up. So like that. So, in our lives, there are so many fireflies. So those are all the faults. And if we're not chanting Hare Krishna, then all you're going to see is fireflies. But when Krishna is like the sun, right? And Krishna's name is not different from Krishna. So Krishna Surya, Krishna Tahan Maya, Nahi Adhikar, something like that. That Krishna is like the sun and Maya is like darkness. And wherever there is Krishna, there can be no Maya. So like that, when we're chanting the holy name, it's like the sun came up and all of those little fireflies became insignificant. All the faults, whole ocean of them became insignificant. So Yeah, anyone who's chanting Hare Krishna is very, very rare and special and exalted in this world. So we really have to get distracted with fireflies. Okay, Hannah.
I'd just like to like Arjuna's point about like the person he's encouraging who said like they just cannot get into it. Like when I was living with devotees, well, in the first part of me living with devotees, it was easy
Yeah.
for me to chant, but I got depressed and it became extremely difficult. And so when I left the ashram, I was just like, well, I can't do this, so I guess I'm a failure. And I just kind of like, I mean, I obviously I kept following the principles and everything, but I just stopped chanting my rounds. And I was very sad and very hard on myself. And I guess what it's to say, like one day it was like, I think it was Lord Nrsingadev's appearance day, and I was like watching all the devotees and they were doing so much service, and I just felt like I was useless. And but I thought to myself, well, I don't have to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Like, what can I do? Like, what do I like to do? And how can I do that for Krishna? I was like, well, I want some strawberries, so I can cut them up and offer them to Krishna. And that little action started me to make Krishna conscious art. And so then I started making art for Krishna. And then as I started to make the art, I was like, well, I want to make deeper art. So I need to become purified. So I should start chanting my rounds. And even though it's from a sense of like duty, that one little thing propelled me so forward. So you can tell the person that's struggling to connect in that way, like, well, what do you like to do and how can you do it for Krishna? Because that one little thing can propel you so far because the process takes a long time. Like this is my 8th year practicing Krishna consciousness, and there are some things that are just like starting to kick in, like, oh, that seem like that were very complicated for me that are just starting to, like make sense. So it takes time and it's easy to be like, well, I can't do all those things, so forget about it. But you shouldn't do that because um, any little thing that you do for Krishna, he appreciates so much, and he like magnifies the little one good thing that you did and helps to mitigate all of the terrible things about yourself so that it can grow more.
Mm.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. Yeah, that was beautiful. Yeah, Krishna's so grateful. He's so appreciative for any little thing that we do. And he's just waiting. He's just like watching. He's just waiting for us to do something. He's just waiting for us to basically give him an excuse to like reach out and drag us back to Godhead. Yeah. It's like, in the Brihat Bhagavatamrita by Sanatana Goswami, there's the story of Gopakumar. And then Gopakumar finally does get back to Godhead. He's back there in Goloka and he gets his Swarupa as a cowherd boy, and Krishna embraces him. And then Krishna sits him down and he's like, what took you so long? He's like, so many lifetimes you were there in the material world. And then, every time he took birth again, I was thinking maybe this lifetime he's going to come to perfection. Maybe he's going to be able to purify himself and, reawaken his love for me and become my devotee and come back to Godhead. And then you finally became a devotee, and I was thinking, well, maybe this lifetime he's going to make it. But then you got distracted by some other things. And then I arranged that you take birth in Braj at Govardhan, and I was thinking maybe he's got every chance now. Like, come on, you can do it, And I was thinking, this life has got to be the one. But then, so then, yeah. So Krishna's he's watching. He's just like, all right, Pragati, I arranged for you to come to Krishna House, Dallas. Give it your best shot. Make this life the last thing in the material world. So, yeah, Krishna's waiting. Yeah, and any little thing, Krishna's probably like, oh no, Hannah, she left Krishna House. She stopped chanting around. Sorry. Give something out for that girl. Okay, Paramatma, you tell her the strawberries. At least you can offer the goddamn strawberries. So yeah, Krishna's always trying to like push us, and then he's like, yippee! She offered the strawberries, and now I got a good reason to like, because the thing is, Krishna doesn't interfere with our free will. So as long as we're just like I'm not going to serve Krishna. I'm not going to offer this to Krishna. I'm not going to chant Hare Krishna. Krishna's just like, oh, what can I do? I can't interfere with the free will. But then as soon as you're like, you know what? Let me do a little offering. Krishna's like, okay. My little in. Just open the door for me. Like that. Okay. Yeah. Let's read a little more. Text 75.
Ita
Ita Bali Eka Shloka Shikai Amore Kante Kari Ek Shloka Kari Avichare.
After describing the potency of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, my spiritual master taught me another verse, advising me to always keep it within my throat.
Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Rama Kevalam Kalau Naste Eva Naste Eva Naste Eva Gatir Anyata. For spiritual progress in this age of Kali, there is no alternative, there is no alternative, there is no alternative to the holy name, the holy name, the holy name of the Lord. Purport. For progress in spiritual life, the Shastras recommend meditation on Satya Yoga, sacrifice for the satisfaction of Lord Vishnu, in Treta Yoga, and gorgeous worship of the Lord in the temple in Dwapar Yuga. But in the age of Kali, one can achieve spiritual progress only by chanting the holy name of the Lord. This is confirmed in various scriptures. In Srimad Bhagavatam, there are many references to this fact. In the 12th canto, chapter 3, it is said, Kalerdo Shanidher. Oh. Nidhirajan esti yako mahaguna kirtanad eva krishnasya mukta sangha param rajat. In the age of Kali, there are many faults, for people are subjected to many miserable conditions. Yet, in this age, there is one great benediction. Simply by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, one can be freed from all material contamination and thus be elevated to the spiritual world. The Narada Pancharatra also praises the Hare Krishna Mahamantra as follows. The essence of all Vedic knowledge, comprehending the three kinds of Vedic activity, Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda, and Upasana Kanda, the chandas or the Vedic hymns, and the process for satisfying the demigods is included in the eight syllabus Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. This is the reality of all Vedanta. The chanting of the holy name is the only means to cross the oceans of nations. Similarly, the Kali Santarana Upanishad states, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. These 16 names, composed of 32 syllables, are the only means to counteract the evil effects of Kali Yuga. In all the Vedas, it is seen that to cross the ocean of nations, there is no alternative to the chanting of the holy name. Mundaka Upanishad has quoted the following verse from the Narayana Samhita. In Dwapar Yuga, one could satisfy Krishna or Vishnu only by worshipping him gorgeously according to the Pancharatrika system. But in the age of Kali, one can satisfy and worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari simply by chanting the holy name. In his Bhakti Sandarbha, text 284, Srila Jiva Goswami strongly emphasizes the chanting of the holy name of the Lord as follows. Srila Jiva Goswami states that the substance of all the Vedic mantras is the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. Each mantra begins with the name Nama Om and eventually addresses by name the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By the supreme will of the Lord, there is a specific potency in each and every mantra chanted by great sages like Narad Muni and other rishis. Chanting the holy name of the Lord immediately renovates the transcendental relationship of the living beings with the Supreme Lord. To chant the holy name of the Lord, one need not depend upon other paraphernalia, for one can immediately get all the desired results of linking with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It may therefore be questioned why there is for one who engages in the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. The answer is that although it is correct that one who fully engages in the chanting the holy name need not depend upon the process of initiation, generally a devotee is addicted to many abominable material habits due to material contamination from his previous life. In order to get quick relief from all this contamination, it is required that one engage in the worship of Lord in the temple. The worship of deity in the temple is essential to reduce one's restlessness due to the contamination of conditioned life. Thus, Narada in his Pancharatriki Vidhi and other great sages have sometimes stressed that since every conditioned soul has a bodily concept of life aimed at sense enjoyment, to restrict this sense enjoyment, the rules and regulations for worshipping the deity in the temples are essential. Srila Rupa Goswami has described that the holy name of the Lord can be chanted by liberated souls. But almost all the souls we have to initiate are conditioned. It is advised that one chant the holy name of the Lord without offenses and according to the regulative principles. Yet, due to their past bad habits, they violate these rules and regulations. Thus, the regulative principle for worship of the deity are also simultaneously essential.
Holy name is always to do with Kali Yuga. But that means chanting the pure holy name, like chanting without offenses. But because of our material conditioning, we commit offenses. And so there are all the other things that we do, right? Apart from just chanting the holy names, all the worship, all the festivals and the preaching and the cooking and the offerings and all that. And because those things purify the heart and mind, so that gradually by doing those things, we can come to chant the holy name purely. So that's why, Prabhupada, he didn't totally throw out the, there's like the Pancharatrika Vidhi and the Bhagavat Vidhi. So he said that they kind of go hand in hand. So even though the deity worship is not technically the process for Kali Yuga, it's the process for Dwapara Yuga, but there are a lot of things in that process that are very helpful. They're supportive of us doing the Yuga Dharma Kali Yuga, which is Sankirtana. So like, if we just, we're chanting Hare Krishna, we just wake up in the morning and just like sit down and chant Hare Krishna. But who's going to be able to do that all day? So it's a lot easier if we wake up and go to the temple and then have Mangal Arati and Tulsi Puja and all those things. And then finally, after we do that, we're really ready to sit down and chant Hare Krishna. But then if we can last for that 1.5 hours, like we're lucky, right? We're like looking at our watch, like, okay, when's the next thing? When are the curtains going to open? I want to see the deities. And then also, if the deities, going to see the deities, it's like, there's a culture and etiquette and things. You want to be clean, you want to be dressed nicely, and because you're coming before the Lord, right? But if we were just like sitting under a tree somewhere chanting Hare Krishna, it's like, doesn't matter, right? No hard and fast rules for chanting. Sit however you like, dress however you like, doesn't matter if you take a shower or not, whatever, It's just anything goes kind of thing. So then, people can stay in their bad habits. But when we have all the deity worship and the regular temple programs, then it gets us into a nice routine of self-discipline and cleanliness and being a little cautious about etiquette and things like that. And plus, there's just so many more ways to engage our senses in the service of the Lord in deity worship. And to actually think about the Lord very personally, so while we do it. So these things are all very helpful, chanting Hare Krishna. And chanting Hare Krishna is also very helpful for those doing those things. So the more we chant, the more we get attraction for Krishna, and the more we want to serve with him. Like that. So those two things together. I think Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he made like a logo for the Gaudiya Math. And I think like on one side he had the Bhagavat Vidhi, on the other side he had the Pancharatrika Vidhi. So he took elements of both, and in the middle he had the printing press. One side was like Vaidhi Marg, and the other side was like Raganila Marg. The principles are different for the different paths, but they're not mutually exclusive. They support each other. Text 77.
Since I received this order from my spiritual master, I always chant the holy name. But I thought that by chanting and chanting the holy name, I had been bewildered.
Got worried at some point.
Hari haila maun mata Asi kandi nachi gai aiche mara mata.
Yeah.
While chanting the holy name of the Lord in pure ecstasy, I lose myself and thus I laugh, cry, dance, and sing just like a madman.
Like, oh my God, I'm chanting this holy name that my guru told me to chant, and it's making me crazy. It's making me go mad. I'm laughing and dancing and crying and singing, and what is happening to me? I used to be so serious
Normal.
and sober and normal. So,
Sabe dhare dhari mane karilu vichara Krishna name jana haila amara.
stay on. But it's there.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
You muted yourself again. You have to unmute and read 79.
Yeah. Shri, collecting my patience, therefore, I began to consider that chanting the holy name of Krishna had covered all my spiritual knowledge. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu hints in this verse that to chant the holy name of Krishna, one does not need to speculate on the philosophical aspects of the science of God, for one automatically becomes ecstatic and without consideration immediately chants, dances, laughs, cries, and sings like just like a madman.
So this is the indirect meaning, but the direct meaning is he's thinking, I used to be such a scholar and philosopher and a teacher, and now I'm just gone nuts. I've like lost all of my knowledge. What this thing is doing to me. Pagal haila ami
Dhare
dare
nahi
nahi
mane
mane.
Ita chinti nivedinu guru rajtarane.
Saw that I had become mad by chanting the holy name, and I immediately submitted this at the lotus feet of my spiritual master. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as an ideal teacher, shows us how a disciple should deal with his spiritual master. Whenever there is a doubt regarding any point, he should refer the matter to his spiritual master for clarification. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that while chanting and dancing, he had developed the kind of mad ecstasy that is possible only for a liberated soul. Yet even in his liberated position, he referred everything to his spiritual master whenever there were doubts. Thus, in any condition, even when liberated, we should never think ourselves independent of the spiritual master, but must refer to him as soon as there is some doubt regarding our progressive spiritual life. So, yeah, Lord Chaitanya is acting like a regular devotee. A regular devotee that starts chanting and starts becoming ecstatic and going a little mad and getting concerned about whether he's all right or whether he's losing it. But of course, Lord Chaitanya is Krishna, and he's always liberated, and he's making a point here, like he said in last purport, that he's making a point that you don't need to be a philosopher to be a pure devotee. You can just chant Hare Krishna. And and then here's making another point that even if you are liberated, still you shouldn't think that you can just kind of, carve out your own path in spiritual life, or just, you should always keep in touch with your spiritual master and ask for guidance and ask for clarification and put any doubts to the spiritual master. Because after all, it was his spiritual master who gave him the mantra. So then he's thinking, what kind of mantra have you given me? This mantra is like ruining my life. Or am I doing something wrong? Right? So then that's how he presents it. So yeah, if our spiritual master tells us something and we're like, Guru Maharaj, I'm trying to follow your instruction, but like, it's really messing me up, or I'm getting so depressed, or this is too much for me, or it's not working, or whatever, then we have to go back to the Guru and say that. It's like, I appreciate this instruction you gave me, and I really tried my best, but results are not what I expected, and you know, can we maybe just like clarify the situation? Is this really what you want me to do? Is it really the result you want? So yeah, that's what we're taking. Okay, 81.
Kiva mantra dila gosai, kiva kara bala. Japide japide mantra karila pagala.
My dear Lord, what kind of mantra have you given me? I have become mad simply by chanting this Maha Mantra. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu prays in his Shikshastakam. Yugayitam nimishena shakshusha pravishayitam
Shunyayitam jagat sarvam Govinda viranena me.
O Govinda, filling your separation, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. It is the aspiration of a devotee that while he chants the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, his eyes will fill with tears, his voice falter, and his heart throb. These are good signs in chanting the holy name of the Lord. In ecstasy, one should feel the entire world to be vacant without the presence of Govinda. This is a sign of separation from Govinda. In material life, we're all separated from Govinda and are absorbed in material sense gratification. Therefore, when one comes to his senses on the spiritual platform, he becomes so eager to meet Govinda that without Govinda, the entire world becomes a vacant place. I know, right?
You said stressing. Yeah, so I was just giving us a little heads up here that, yeah, if you're chanting properly, then this is what's going to happen. You're going to be experiencing transcendental ecstasy. You're feeling a lot of separation from Krishna. So if by chanting we're feeling like we're missing Krishna, we want to be with Krishna, I really want to see you, that means we're doing it right. Okay, 682. Asayana
Nataya mure karaya krandana. Ekashuni guru hasi baliya vachana. Chanting the holy name in ecstasy causes me to dance, laugh, and cry. When my spiritual master who heard all this, he smiled and then began to speak. Prabhupada, when a disciple very perfectly makes progress in spiritual life, this gladdens the spiritual master, who then also smiles in ecstasy, thinking how successful my disciple has become. He feels so glad that he smiles as he enjoys the progress of the disciple, just as a smiling parent enjoys the activities of a child who is trying to stand up or crawl perfectly.
Children so much, it's all the growing pains, and finally see them, and they're like going off and they're doing well, happy, so parents are very satisfied. So this, yeah, like I was thinking these past few days, because my daughter's like have been playing flute for Radhadesh Mellows, and she's like up there with Caitanyas on the stage and the flute, and she's like playing the flute 10 hours a day, and she's like in ecstasy because she loves playing flute. And Nadia Mani gives her a solo, and she's like, oh my god. So yeah, it's nice because she's been practicing that flute, to play the flute for the pleasure of Krishna and the devotees for years and years. Yeah, being hesitant, feeling like she's not good enough, and then finally just overcoming the barriers and doing a lot of practice, and even before Radha Dashmala, because she used to play it sometimes, not so much, but sometimes at the manor, and so she built up a little bit of confidence in performing. And then so when she told me they were going to Radhadesh to be there for the mellows, I was like, oh, are you gonna play flute, Radhadesh mellows? She's like, oh, no. Not a chance. These are like really famous kirtanias coming, and like I'm not that good, and no one knows me. I'm not even no. I was like, well, you never know. Bring your flute, see what happens, And the next thing you know, she's like, I was there. And so I was really happy. So yeah, the spiritual master feels like that, you know, and they see the disciple joins and they struggle so much to get situated in bhakti and, you know, going through the stages of breaking those attachments, you know, the gross attachments to the material world, and then gradually breaking the subtle ones, and then, you know, just really becoming a devotee, starting to really identify that I'm a devotee, my life is for Krishna, and then doing wonderful things, you know. Then it makes it makes the guru so happy and proud. Like he says here, how successful my disciple has become. So, of course, the guru's like main thing is not, you know, the external things, right? Like it's nice, you know, if the disciple is, you know, becoming a really expert cook and cooking for some festival, or that the disciple is distributing a lot of books, or that the disciple is like becoming a great devotional painter, or whatever, you know, that those things are nice. But really, what the guru wants to see is that the disciple is becoming like ecstatic in Krishna consciousness. That's really getting a taste for the holy name, becoming attached to Krishna, and, you know, going very deep, having a profound experience of Krishna consciousness. So, yeah. Okay, now we're going to hear what the guru says.
Krishna nama maha mantreya eka svabhava ye jape Hare Krishna upajaya bhava.
It is the nature of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra that anyone who chants it immediately develops his loving ecstasy for Krishna. Purport. In this verse, it is explained that one who chants the Hare Krishna mantra develops bhav, ecstasy, which is the point at which revelation begins. It is the preliminary stage in developing one's original love for God. Lord Krishna mentions this bhav stage in the Bhagavad Gita. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matah sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitah. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who know this perfectly engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. A neophyte disciple begins by hearing and chanting, associating with devotees, and practicing the regulative principles, and thus he vanquishes all of his unwanted bad habits. In this way, he develops attachment for Krishna and cannot forget Krishna even for a moment. Bhav is the almost successful stage of spiritual life. A sincere student orally receives the holy name from the spiritual master, and after being initiated, he follows the regulative principles given by the spiritual master. When the holy name is properly served in this way, automatically the spiritual nature of the holy name spreads. In other words, the devotee becomes qualified in offenselessly chanting the holy name. When one is completely fit to chant the holy name in this way, he is eligible to make disciples all over the world, and he actually becomes Jagat Guru. Then the entire world, under his influence, begins to chant the holy names of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Thus, all the disciples of such a spiritual master increase in attachment for Krishna, and therefore he sometimes cries, sometimes laughs, sometimes dances, and sometimes chants. These symptoms are very prominently manifest in the body of a pure devotee.
So they probably
Yeah. Jagat Guru.
Max chanting Hare Krishna. The prophet becomes very ecstatic about his disciples making it nice.
Sometimes, when our students of the Krishna consciousness movement chant and dance, even in India, people are astonished to see how these foreigners have learned to chant and dance in this ecstatic fashion. As explained by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, however, actually, this is not due to practice, for without extra endeavor, these symptoms become manifest in anyone who sincerely chants the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Many fools, not knowing the transcendental nature of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, sometimes impaired our loudly chanting this mantra. Yet, one who is actually advanced in the fulfillment of chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra induces others to chant also. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami explains, Krishna Shakti Vina Nahe Tare Pravartana. Unless one receives special power of attorney from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he cannot preach the glories of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. As devotees propagate the Hare Krishna Maha to understand the glories of the holy name. While chanting and dancing or hearing the holy name of the Lord, one automatically remembers the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And because there is no difference between the holy name and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, thus, connected, a devotee develops his original attitude of service to the Lord. In this attitude of constantly serving Krishna, which is called bhava, he always thinks of Krishna in many different ways. One who has attained this bhav stage is no longer under the clutches of the illusory energy. When other spiritual ingredients such as trembling, perspiration, and tears are added to this bhav stage, the devotee gradually attains love of Krishna. The holy name of Krishna is called the Mahamantra. Other mantras mentioned in the Narad Pancharatra are known simply as mantras, but the chanting of the holy name of the Lord is called the Mahamantra.
Mantra, Eta Swabhava. Swabhava means the essential quality of a thing. Right? So they say this is the very nature of this mantra. Like this is the essential quality, the swabhav of this mantra, is that it makes you crazy with love for God. It makes you mad. That when you chant it, ye jape, when you chant japa, then Krishna Upajaya Bhava, some feelings, ecstatic feeling for Krishna comes up, arises. Upajaya. That's what happens when you chant. And yeah, this means if we start feeling some ecstasy when we're chanting, then that's I mean, we're doing it right. And he says here that because when we chant, then the holy name is not different from Krishna. We're chanting purely, then we're connecting with Krishna. And when we connect with Krishna, then we're going to feel something. Right? And he says, what do we feel? He says, thus connected, a devotee develops his original attitude of service to the Lord. So, yeah. We realize our actual eternal nature as Satchit Ananda, blissful, eternal, knowledgeable spirit souls. And yeah, become ecstatic because that's the nature of the soul, actually. And then that matures into love. Jai. 5:00.
Adi.
Shri Caitanya Caritamrita ki
Jai.
Jai.
Jai. Jai.